When a corrupt federal judge tried to cover up the truth by silencing a key witness, he believed his authority was untouchable until Pam Bondi stepped into that courtroom, showing exactly why Donald Trump counts on her when the stakes couldn't be higher. And what went down in the end? Well, you're gonna want to see that with your own eyes. But first, hit the comments and tell me where you're watching from. That morning, the air in the federal courthouse was thick with tension. You could feel it. Judge Harrison, well known for his bias against conservative defendants, was already on edge. But today, his behavior was off the charts disturbing. "How many times do I have to repeat myself?" he yelled at the bailiff. "In my courtroom, the thermostat stays locked at 67 degrees. If anyone's cold, they can wear a coat." Then, turning to the court reporter, he growled, "And if she can't type faster, I'll have her replaced by lunch." His irrational commands had everyone tiptoeing, afraid to breathe wrong. The gallery was packed, all eyes on Judge Harrison as he stormed in, visibly irritated. "Clear the front row," he barked, aiming his glare at elderly conservative attendees. "Move them to the back. I don't need their Trump pins in my face." The power trip was real, but no one dared speak up until now. "Your Honor," his assistant said, voice shaky. "Attorney General Bondi is here for the defense." Harrison's lip curled in disgust. "Oh, perfect," he sneered. Another blonde conservative princess pretending to be a lawyer. He tugged at his robe, irritated. "What's next? Is she gonna throw the Constitution at me?" Liberal attorneys around him laughed, too eager to please. But everything shifted the moment Pam Bondi walked in. The room changed. Her presence? Commanding. But Harrison? He just saw another target. "Listen closely, Miss Bondi," he said, mocking her name like it was a joke. "Being Attorney General means nothing in my court. Looking pretty and tossing around Bible verses won't help your client here." Bondi didn't flinch. "I'm here to bring forward evidence and seek justice, Your Honor. That's all." "Evidence?" Harrison scoffed, leaning forward with dripping sarcasm. "Let me guess, more of your conservative fairy tales? I've chewed up and spit out better lawyers than you, Miss Bondi. But hey, entertain us." She cracked the faintest smile, flipping open her briefcase. Oh, he had no clue. This routine hearing was about to explode into the defining moment of his entire judicial career. The defense attorney stood to speak. "Your Honor, we're here because Mrs. Henderson, a respected small business owner and founder of a charity." "Cut the warm and fuzzy," Harrison snapped. "She's charged with fraud. That's all that counts." "But Your Honor," the attorney tried again. "Her years of charitable work are—" "I said drop it." Harrison slammed the gavel. "This courtroom isn't a stage for another conservative sob story filled with church and family values." Bondi rose. Calm. Measured. "Your Honor, with respect, Mrs. Henderson's community involvement is relevant." "Oh, I bet you think it is," Harrison cut her off, stressing her name like a curse. "You conservatives always think fraud hides behind religion and good deeds." "Not in my court. The records will prove otherwise," Bondi replied, still cool. "Every transaction was properly." "Properly what?" Harrison sneered. "Hidden? Faked? I've seen your kind before." "Have you, Your Honor?" Bondi asked, her tone cutting through. "How many of these cases have you actually seen?" Harrison stiffened. "You're walking a fine line, Miss Bondi." As she revealed the first exhibit, his hand trembled slightly while reaching for his water glass. "Exhibit A," she said, pointing at the screen. "These bank records confirm the foundation received all funds through legal channels." "Objection," the prosecutor stood up. "That evidence wasn't disclosed in discovery." Harrison grinned. "Trying to slip in surprises now, Miss Bondi?" Bondi didn't blink. "Page 47 of the discovery files, Your Honor. Submitted and acknowledged by your office 3 weeks ago." Harrison's face hardened. "That's impossible," Bondi offered calmly. "Maybe check with your clerk about what arrived on March 15th? The clerk turned ghost white. Harrison glared at her before turning back. "These files are inadmissible." "Based on what, Your Honor?" "Because I said so." His voice echoed across the room. "I am the judge here." I'm aware, Bondi replied evenly. But the federal rules of evidence. You dare quote law to me? He thundered. I've forgotten more about the law than you'll ever know. One more word, just one, and you're out of my courtroom. Gasps filled the gallery. Even the prosecutor shifted nervously.
But Bondi?
Unmoved. Before you do that, she said, pulling another file. Exhibit B might be worth your attention. Harrison hesitated. Just slightly. The records clearly show, she began. Stand up straight. Harrison barked. Speak clearly. Bondi's posture was perfect, her tone unwavering. As I was saying, she went on, these records prove that. Let me remind you of something, Miss Bondi. Harrison leaned forward, low and menacing. I decide what matters in this court. I am the law. Understood? Crystal, Bondi replied. However, federal law. Oh, don't test me. Harrison spat. Talk about rules again, and you'll be sitting next to your client in contempt. I'm just doing my duty, Bondi answered. Are you really going to imprison an attorney general for presenting evidence? You're just another lawyer in here, Harrison snapped. And one more word, just one. I'll clear this courtroom myself. The gallery held its breath as Bondi reached for an envelope. In that case, Your Honor, she said, calm as ever. Maybe you should look at this before deciding. Harrison's eyes narrowed. Are you refusing my authority? I just want to address a pattern, Bondi said. A what? Harrison's gavel slammed again. You're wasting the court's time. The defense has a right. I decide what rights exist in here, he shouted. You're in contempt. Officers, remove her. But the officers didn't move. They glanced at each other, hesitating. I gave you an order. Harrison yelled. Are you defying me too? Before you do this, Your Honor, Bondi said, voice slicing through the noise, you might want to think carefully about arresting an attorney general without cause. In open court. Without cause. Harrison shrieked. I am the cause. My Wort ist Love. Actually, Your Honor, Bondi said, calmly tapping the envelope, there's something you ought to see before giving any more orders. Last warning, Miss Bondi, Harrison threatened. Submit or be dragged out. Authority, huh? She said, eyes locked. Let's talk about that. I already ruled. Harrison roared. Have you? Bondi asked softly. Because you've spent more time threatening me than reviewing evidence. How dare you? Yes, how dare I challenge your obsession with control? She cut in. Now, let's discuss the actual case, the facts you keep avoiding. You're delusional, Harrison barked, eyes darting to the envelope. Then explain why all exculpatory evidence vanished from the court record, she said, lifting a document. Or why some files were sealed without cause. They were sealed under my authority. Your authority, Bondi repeated. And who exactly are you protecting, Your Honor? Enough. Harrison banged his fists. One more word, and I'll have you disbarred. I'm sure your connections will love hearing that, Bondi said, tone tightening. Especially the ones you met with last Thursday night. Harrison froze. What meeting? In the Liberty Building garage. 3rd floor. 11:47 p.m. His eyes widened. Or should we wait for the security footage? You're spying on me? Officers. Arrest her, now. Still, they didn't move. Photos, Bondi said, placing them calmly on the evidence table. Lots of them,